So I think where the industry is at the moment, we're starting to make changes towards equality. So I think in order to have true equality, we really need representation. I'm Susannah Emery. I'm the lecturer of game design and digital media here at Uni SA, and I'm based at McGill. So I've been interested in games for a long time. I didn't actually really like video games heaps when I was little. All of the games that were out were like punchy games or car racing games, and they weren't really targeted at me. So I found I really loved reading books, but my favourite books were like choose your own adventures. So I'd stay up all night under the covers reading choose your own adventures with a torch, and if my parents came in, drop everything and pretend I was asleep. When I got older, I started noticing that there were games that were narrative based, and the game genre came along quite a bit, so people started making narrative games. And I thought, whoa, like games are like books, they're really, really cool. And I started playing games that were narrative based, and then I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do, this is really, really cool. There's lots of really, really cool inspirational people. Denise Wood, who was my lecturer when I was an undergrad, and was really one of the first people to show me that women can do things that maybe are traditionally dominated by male groups. Being a designer in general is pretty challenging because a lot of maybe people don't really realise what designers do, why designers are important, why they need designers, but that's across design in all industries, I think. In terms of my personal challenges, I think that probably one of the biggest hurdles that I faced was actually coming to university. When I put down my preferences on my form at high school, my teacher came to me and said, oh, you've put media arts first, but you should put marketing first because that's a better career for a young lady. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're right. And then I came to an open day here and I saw Denise talking in front of everybody about all the cool stuff that she was doing as a media arts lecturer and her cool PC setup, which sounded really sweet. And I was like, I want a sweet PC setup. I want to be like Denise. So I just went home and underlined that preference. So I was really lucky this year that we got to start the games design major here in the Bachelor of Creative Industries at Uni SA. And I've really enjoyed being a part of that so far. I'm writing the classes for that now, which is awesome. And we had the first class this year. So I'm really, really happy with where I'm at in my career. I'm working on my PhD still. I'm near the end there, but yeah, it's a time-consuming exercise, and that's a game development in itself. I'm working on Hannah at the moment. Hannah's a game that's designed to help family and friends support people experiencing domestic violence. So it's based on a lot of research into social work principles, what works, what doesn't work, what true stories of people who've experienced domestic violence and what they found useful, what they found wasn't useful, and how they felt family and friends could have supported them. It's also based on a lot of academic research into something called social empathy, which is this idea that if you want to make people feel strongly about something or understand something, they need to empathize or relate to the person or the situation that you're teaching them about. And the best way to do that is through personal narratives, so through story. So Hannah's an interactive narrative based on these stories. And the goal of it is to raise awareness of some of the non-physical elements of domestic violence and how they affect someone experiencing it, as well as how important the friends and family role is to those people. So I think where the industry is at the moment, we're starting to make changes towards equality, but it's still the case that although women, for example, make up 50% of gamers in Australia, less than 20% of women are game developers. So I think in order to have true equality, we really need representation that is an example of the player base. We can't make games for people if we don't have those people making games. And it's really good because the only thing that more diversity can do is make more and more interesting and different games. And everybody wins from more options. So it's good for everybody to have more diversity. There's absolutely zero downside to more diversity. For me, I'd really like to see more diversity in our games major. More students with different backgrounds, different representations. And that's something that I think will happen eventually. But yeah, until then, I'm just going to try and be visible, I want to do more school visits and stuff to tell people that it's out there, and if you want to study this, you can, and we're here and we'll support you. And I think for me, I'd really like to see a cool representation of diversity across our major, and some really cool and interesting games being made as a result of that.